So, yesterday I talked about perfectionism, and for me, it's a mechanism that is way more than just about getting things right. It's a form of feeling safe. So, controlling what's shielding from the world, all the things that I feel might be bad, in order to try and somehow feel safe. And yeah, this is a new realization actually, which it's really kind of blown open a large part of how I've lived my life. And I'm in a really dynamic coaching group, and I'm getting to the final point of my certification for my transformational coaching. And as I've become more and more more confident in declaring and owning my sensitivity, I have become more confident at saying what my needs are. For example, when I'm in the coaching group, if someone's making a noise, I ask them, can they mute themselves? Or if there's a door slamming, I asked my flatmate, can you call the landlord and ask them to sort it out? But here's the thing, what I started to realise, and the feedback that I got from my group, was that actually this need, I started to get my genuine needs as an extremely sensitive person entangled with this controlling mechanism. And the response that I got from people was that it was repellent and highly controlling and not attractive at all. And it really made me think about how much I have repelled people, events, situations, because I've been desperately trying to control everything in order to feel safe. And so I had a situation a couple of weeks ago. I moved into a new place, and a week in I realised that there's a lot of noise coming from upstairs, and it turns out I was living below a 14-year-old boy with really, really heavy feet, heavy gait. And it was right at the time I had a healing session and the harvest moon, and all of these factors and it just exploded my awareness into this controlling mechanism. And of course, this feeling of being dominated, because as a highly sensitive, when I went to school, I was completely overwhelmed by the lights, the people, all this new information, all the energies. It was just completely overwhelming. So it just perpetuated this feeling of feeling dominated. And of course, there's a guy upstairs, and it's that same feeling. It was a very uncomfortably perfect situation to work through, and with the help of my group, I managed to discern and decipher what my genuine needs are and what comes from this old pattern. And I ended up going up and knocking on the door, and I said to them, I can cope with all the noise. There's just one thing, and that's the scraping of the chair. Please, I'm asking you, please, as a neighbour, please, can you sort this out? And I have a suggestion but I don't want to overstep a boundary. And he asked me what the suggestion was, and anyway, so I felt extremely proud of myself, because not only had I deciphered kind of what my old pattern was with what a genuine need is, I'm also learning to expand my capacity for feeling uncomfortable. Now, this is absolutely key in order to grow as spiritually, personally, in every way. The more I can expand into feeling uncomfortable, the more I allow life and joy and pleasure and fun into my life. And it's about asserting boundaries in order for this vulnerability to come through. And yesterday, I think it was late last week, or maybe it was on Monday, I was at work and I just had to stop in my tracks, because there was a flower, and it was the most beautiful flower I'd ever seen in my life. And I literally had to sit down. And this person said, "Are you on drugs?" And I said, "Not at the moment." And it was just the most beautiful flower. And it's by owning my boundary and untangling what my needs are with my genuine needs are with what an old pattern is, and me asserting myself, and me also expanding into my into feeling uncomfortable, because I can't control life. I cannot control life. And by expanding into my feeling uncomfortable, I'm automatically allowing life into me and through me, which means I'm in flow with life and allowing love into me, and then by this there's this kind of vulnerability that is just naturally occurs. So I think there's a mistake that sensitive people are somehow kind of fragile, and this is absolutely not the case. But, should I say, I vehemently I'm a complete advocate for expanding into this uncomfortableness and not using my sensitivity as a way to control people and be tyrannical, further perpetuating this image that sensitive people are somehow difficult or fragile. So it really is about, and this is the deep work, it's deciphering, and by going into the shadow and unearthing it. So a lot came from that. So I've got, there's a door at work, and I'm resisting asking one of the guys to tighten the screw so that it closes more softly, because I'm expanding into my feeling uncomfortable, because I know that the natural order is for me to be able to feel more vulnerable, and therefore be able to allow life and love into me. And so this is an ongoing inquiry, and I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have any. And this is the final session video for the investigating and integrating the shadow aspect of the highly sensitive trait. And the next video, I'm going to be exploring and integrating the shadow aspect of the high sensation seeking trait. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you soon.